Hey guys, it's Sunday night, and that means it's another episode of the M Cluster. I'm Slider, I'm your host, and with me we've got Brandon,
Hey guys.
and tonight for a little bit we're going to have Dante.
Hi.
Uh, and this week everybody knows it's the week of Halloween, so there's been a lot of stuff going on. Brandon, I understand you had a few things that you were going to.
Yeah, on Friday I had my Halloween party here at my house, and I don't know, we had probably 20 to 25 people here. It was a lot of fun, a lot of drunken debauchery. Um, Definitely some questionable things that happened.
Oh, you can't just leave it at that. What do you mean?
Well, uh, through being extremely intoxicated, me and a couple guys we were joking around a lot, and then like one guy ended up showing his butthole to us numerous times,
Okay.
which turned into now we were in his circle of trust, so we were so friends. So now we were joking around for the rest of the night that we're so friends,
Hmm.
and I don't know, just a lot of stuff like that. I played a lot of beer pong. I was 7-0. I dominated the beer pong table,
Okay. Sounds like I'm glad I was at work.
probably. Um, Oh, I mean, yeah, Dante, you were there for a little bit, so I mean, you saw at least some of the ongoings.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the beer pong. I am glad this is the first I heard about that other thing, and
Oh, you mean the circle of trust?
yeah,
Yeah,
I was not part
that,
of
that
it, and
was
I am
that, that was
happy.
far after. That was about 3 in the morning.
Okay.
Um, and then let's see, Saturday I went to the Rocky Horror Picture Show up in Orlando at Universal City Walk.
Oh, how was that?
It was good, except for this annoying cast member that was off to our right, that she kept trying to explain little jokes, and that was very annoying. And then she kept trying to explain why things were funny, and she kept trying to explain like why she was a lesbian.
Okay, this is to you or to the audience in general?
Both.
Hmm.
It was odd, and it was like I said, it was outside of her. Like it was good. Just she was just kind of annoying.
Was it a
Um,
shadow play?
no.
So they didn't play the movie on the screen?
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they played the movie on the screen, and they had the actors up on
Right.
stage and through the audience, and she was just kind of standing there doing her own thing. I didn't really get it.
Hmm. You happen to know what production company did that?
Uh, Something weirdos. Um, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well,
I
one of the guys that we've had on the show before, Fuad Siddiqui, has some going on in with the acting community in Orlando. So I'm curious to know if he knew anything or knew anything, anyone that was part of that show.
it's very possible. I'll have to look up possible like when either you or Dante were going on. I'm just trying to see if I can find what production company it is because I can't remember. I know it's something weirdos though. But then tonight, me and Amanda are going to a haunted house in downtown Melbourne. That's supposed to be open till midnight or so.
That's going on tonight.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard about that.
Pretty busy
Um,
weekend for you.
yeah.
yeah, very.
I understand. Didn't you go to Universal Studios as well last week?
Uh, Not last week, but the week before. We went on the 13th.
How was that?
Um, Very busy. We listened to our roommate, and we originally me and Amanda wanted to go like on a Thursday or a Sunday because it's less crowded, it's cheaper, you get to see everything. So, but our roommate was like, "Oh, if you go on a Saturday, because it's so expensive, less people go, and it's not really that crowded." Yeah, that's not the case at all. It was so packed. We only got to see about um, 2/3 of the haunted houses. The best one by far was definitely Walking Dead. Um, Dead End was kind of boring. Silent Hill was all right. They could have done a little better. I think if they had had more people instead of props in the Silent Hill one, it would have been much better.
Well,
But there was no scare zones like there was last year either. So
I
it
don't
was
even know what a scare zone is.
last year they had like when you're walking around, they had certain parts of Universal that were set up as a certain type of zone. Like last year, they had a whole zone that was just strictly Alice in Wonderland.
Hmm.
Then there was another zone that was something else, but like they had themes, and this year they didn't do that.
Interesting. Well, maybe next year I'll be back to working days and I can do some of this stuff. But yeah, we did a little bit. Dante, why don't you talk about your going on?
Yeah, I went to Brandon's party and I missed out on much of what Brandon actually talked about. So yeah, I'll just skip over that. And but last night, we went to downtown Melbourne and basically walked around, and I dressed up a little bit and um, saw a lot of people in costumes and took pictures, which I will share. Let's see, here we go, sharing them. So yeah, we had like this guy in werewolf-looking outfit, and let's see. Sorry about that. This guy was actually pretty cool. As you can see, his big
That's
bloody. Go ahead.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, wait to the next one. His face comes out of his belly right there.
Nice.
Pretty cool. It opens up and it protrudes.
I have to interrupt you for a second. Yeah, this guy, not a guy.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah, I was able to tell that. It was the rich
Okay.
weirdos, by the way.
Oh, the rich
Okay.
weirdos?
Okay. Um, there's a lady in like a dead bride sort of thing going on. Raggedy Ann and Andy was somewhere else. I didn't get a picture.
I recognize that person. I think like I've seen that person in that costume before. Maybe at the last Megaween.
Well, this wasn't at Megaween. This was actually at Siggy's. Siggy's an American bar off of Malabar Road.
I know where Siggy's is.
Yeah.
I haven't been, but I know where it is.
Okay. So yeah, we got like the Hulk and some
Oh,
people dancing.
That was a terrible look.
Oh, yeah, but and this is a couple of my coworkers who we ran across at, just down Melbourne now, and there's me in my Old Spice guy costume again, my common one, and then I don't even know who they were, but they said like Old Spice guy. I'm like, let me get a picture because they're hot,
I did not even notice
Did you?
the Old Spice thing.
Yeah, I want to say, did you convince her to do that, or did she convince you to do that?
She took it out of my hand and put it there herself.
Nice.
Yeah, so I wasn't complaining. And then this more of the same. Just this guy back here in the orange, actually apparently I guess lifted her skirt, and like a second later, it would have been a terrible picture because like she wasn't even looking at the camera and he had disappeared. But yeah, that was a little weird. And people all throughout the night were actually trying to take off my towel, which whatever. So
All the safety pins.
yeah, and then more pictures. Just
Okay, so the one... No, wait, go back to that picture.
this one.
Yeah, the one on the left there threw herself at him, quite literally.
The wedding gown one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't gonna mention it.
Oh, Dante could have had his pick the other night. I mean, it was pretty interesting to watch.
Moving on. There we got the Johnny Depp character of Alice in Wonderland, I believe.
I almost recognize that guy. It probably obviously better with the makeup, but like I want to say that he works at Percepta, but
So yeah. What else we got? Some Doctor Nurse, Big Bad Wolf, Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, she was pretty popular.
Yeah. Got a crayon and mermaids. And these ladies were they were having a good old time and you'll see from the next picture. It's like, yeah, they were just like,
Yeah, and you look like you're hating it.
I got it. Yeah. So anyway,
And this was actually back at Siggy's.
yeah, back to Siggy's and just some more crazy costumes, and then got Tin Man and I don't know who. So, but yeah, that's most of the pictures I got for the night. Took out the ones that were like blurry and stuff. But that's pretty much how Saturday night went.
Yeah,
So
we didn't get a picture of them, but there were actually these three girls there, and their costume was rock paper scissors.
Nice.
It was actually pretty cool. And I told Dante, I was like, I'd really like to see paper cover rock. Um, but all right, so that's enough of that. We got a movie to talk about. So this week we are discussing Trainspotting, and this was my pick. So I'm going to go ahead and do the lead in on this one. So Trainspotting is a movie about heroin addiction. And there have been other drug stories out there before, but this one is one that I really enjoyed watching. It stars Ewan McGregor, and he is a the character's name is Renton, and he's basically uh, his circle of friends all are in the drug culture in London, or I'm sorry, in Scotland, and and they talk about how. Uh, that they don't have any reason for doing this, and it's just the way things are. And he just does a really, really, and I say he because Ewan McGregor is what I'm most familiar with, but the whole cast really does an excellent portrayal of what it's like to live in this drug culture. And much like Full Metal Jacket, this movie takes a really, really hard turn in the middle, and it's almost a different film. Because the first half of the movie is just them having a good time. It's what their lives are like on heroin. And then something happens in the middle of the film, and well, I guess I could just spoil it. So one of the members of his circle of friends is a female. She has a child. The child dies. They don't really say what exactly happened, but we're led to believe that she's neglected the child because she was stoned, basically. And when
Yeah,
that
they
happens,
portray that throughout oh, the first whole half. I mean, they never really show anyone taking care of the baby.
right. So when that happens, the movie takes a really sharp turn and starts showing all of the negative aspects of heroin, what their lives are like without the drug, um, or more to the point, what their lives are really like. Um, and it's such a stark reality in the way they portrayed it and the way just the film was well written, it was well acted, the the scenes were well done. There was an excellent scene or a montage really of uh, Ewan McGregor's character Renton coming off of the drug cold turkey, and it was just really well done. So I could go on and on, but Brandon, what do you think?
I had not really known anything about the movie. I had heard the word train spotting, in terms of the movie mentioned before, but I didn't know what it was about, or anything like that. So I didn't know what to expect when going in to watch it. Uh, Once I started watching it, I mean, certain things were pretty crazy to me, but also it was very familiar because, I mean, as you know, I had a friend who was very addicted to drugs.
Right.
And so a lot of the things that they show going on with Renton and all of his friends were very familiar to me. I mean, even down to going to steal things out of either people's houses or people's cars just to sell it real quick to get your next hit. He would do that. So like it's very accurate in the way they portray everything. It was kind of scary with some things as well. I mean, uh, when I don't remember when Tommy, almost well, not almost, did end up getting killed because of their heroin, because he started eating cat shit, which is in itself kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
I mean, those are the kinds of things that happen. Not necessarily eating cat shit, but the lifestyle in general, when you are that addicted to something that's all you can do and think about, is that's your only thing you're really hanging on to. Um,
Well, Well, the director of this movie, Danny Boyle, was actually a doctor, an emergency room doctor. And some of the things that occurred in this movie are straight out of his experience with dealing with extremely addicted drug users when they come into the ER. One scene that's a little comical. On the surface, that's kind of a sad statement, but is when they walk into the old folks' home and steal a television. That's a direct experience that he had to deal with when he was a doctor. So he actually had a lot of experience with dealing with these people and the drug culture itself, which is part of why he had the ability to portray this so accurately. And it was just it's it's a fun ride watching them stoned. I mean, it really is. And I'm not saying that because I think it's a good idea to glorify drug use, but and I've also had friends that that have gone down that path and things haven't ended up so well for them. And especially when you mentioned Tommy specifically, Tommy was the one of the group, aside from his crazy ass brother, that didn't do drugs.
Yeah,
He just hung out with them. Yeah, because he was their friend. And
what kind of sucks is it's kind of Renton's fault.
it's not kind of Renton's fault.
I mean,
It's
it
Renton's
is.
fault. And that's actually where I was going with this. In high school, I had a similar situation. Luckily, not with drugs, but a friend of mine who was very homely, very sheltered, I exposed him to drinking. And unfortunately, he could not handle the habit, and it became a big problem for him for a long time. So I can really, the way they dealt with this, I really understand what's going on here. So it's kind of a heart wrenching thing for me to see that, and like you said, it's not kind of Renton's fault. It's Renton's fault.
Well, yeah. Well, it started though with the whole video thing because he stole the sex tape. If he hadn't done that, Tommy wouldn't have gone to him for the heroin.
Well, let's expound on this a little bit. So Tommy actually makes this sex tape with his girlfriend, and Renton finds it when he's hanging out in Tommy's apartment and swaps the tape for a soccer video, and then asks if he can borrow the soccer tape. Well, after a night of going out, Tommy and his girlfriend get home. They start fooling around. She says, "Throw in the tape." When he throws in the tape, it's this soccer game, and she freaks out on him. She's like, "Where's the tape? Where's the tape?" And he's looking for it and he can't find it. And the only thing he can think of is that he returned it to the video store. And, obviously she freaks the fuck out on that. And, that starts the downward spiral of their relationship. And finally she leaves him. When she leaves him, Tommy goes to Renton and says, "Man, this sucks. And you guys are always talking about how good things are when you're high. I want to get high." Renton initially says no, but then he pulls out a wad of money, the addiction takes over, and, the rest is history. But it wasn't just the lifestyle. It was he contracted HIV from using dirty needles.
Yeah, Tommy did.
Yeah.
However, that's not what killed him.
That's not what killed him, but that's what led to his death.
Although that's what not contracting HIV is what ended up getting Renton out.
Right. Yeah, he had this realization. He's like, in this culture where I'm surrounded by the Walking Dead, I was clean. And it was kind of funny in the story when he meets Diane. Diane is a character that he meets. They're out dancing. And
to interrupt you for 2 seconds on that, again, same situation with my friend. Almost like not quite the age difference, but very damn near.
Okay, well, the age difference you're referencing is when Renton's out on the town with his friends. They're drinking and dancing and having a good time. And one of the things he mentions is that heroin kills his libido. Well, now that he's trying to get off heroin, his libido is back with a vengeance. So he's out on the prowl. He's looking around, and he meets Diane. Diane turns out to be a little more than he expected. She's actually a smart individual, and she's not just out looking to hook up. And she ends up taking him home, and they have a good old time together. And then she kicks him out of her room. She's like, "You can't sleep here. You got to sleep in the hallway. Sleep on the sofa or whatever." And then the next morning, he finds out that she's in high school. So it's a shocking revelation for him. And then he tries to end it with her. He's like, "You know what? You can't believe you put me in this situation. Fuck off." And she turns around and says, "If you don't talk to me, I'll call the cops." Which is kind of a really screwed up thing to do. especially since she's kind of like the beacon of sanity in this movie. She's the one that tells him, when he gets off the drugs, that
Yeah.
you need something different, you need to do something new, and that's why he leaves Scotland and goes to London. So um, she's a really interesting character, and that was actually her first movie. Her name is, let's see here, I just had her up here, Eileen Nichols. And that was her first film, and it
I
was
think
you know what? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Hold on.
honestly, I don't think that's right.
Where'd she go? Oh, I hit back. At any rate, it's her first film, and she does a wonderful job. She's kind of the voice of sanity in this film. Luckily, Renton listens to her. I mean, he kind
Kelly
of cleans
MacDonald.
himself up. Kelly MacDonald, that's her name. Okay, and so she basically keeps in touch with him when he leaves and goes to London. But however, that's how his friends end up finding him. And it starts with his brother. And his brother is another interesting character. He's a fucking psychopath, even though he's not on drugs. And he kind of looks down his nose at at Renton and his friends for being all drugged up. But he's nuts.
Yeah. He has some other kind of issues. That's.
Well, I was doing some reading about the film, and the director actually confirmed that the writers wrote that character as a homosexual, and he's afraid of people finding out that he's gay, and that's why he acts out the way he does. He's being so ultra alpha to keep people from knowing that he's gay.
That's interesting. I didn't pick up on that, really.
Well, it wasn't something that they really portrayed in the film. It was kind of his backstory that they used to explain his behavior. So they never tell you in the film that he's gay. They never give you an inkling of it. They even show him with a woman at the dance party. But there's a lot of really interesting things about this movie. A lot of the scenes that they filmed were homages to different things. The dance scene where they're in the bar hanging out is out of A Clockwork Orange. And the band that's playing, I can't remember their name right now, but the name of the band is the name of the song that was playing in that scene in Clockwork Orange.
Nice.
And when the detectives are chasing them down the street at the beginning of the film, that's a homage to the Beatles and one of their music videos. And there's a lot of imagery in the film where they do that. Where they're just kind of throwing out nods to various different things. So they did put a lot of thought and effort. This movie, interestingly enough, is actually voted one of the 10 best British films by the British Film Academy. So it's not an unknown film. However, I find that a lot of people I know have never seen it, kind of like you.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was just very interesting with the way they all interact with each other. I mean, even when Renton goes to take the money, and he was kind of explaining things like he would have done it if he had thought of it first. With
Yeah.
his friend the blonde.
Sick Boy.
Yeah.
It's
And
interesting. That actor's name is Johnny Lee Miller, and one of the interesting things about him and his character, and I don't know if this is pure coincidence or if they wrote it this way, but he's kind of gotten a fascination with Bond films, and the actor Johnny Lee Miller is actually the grandchild of the character that played M in the original Bond films. So there's this interesting tie-in where the actor is related to an actor from the James Bond films, and the character has an obsession with him. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And he didn't have any dogs, though. So if you had to pick a favorite part, what would you say your favorite part was?
Well, I don't know. There was a lot of interesting scenes. One of the most interesting scenes is when he's detoxing and hallucinating a lot. Seeing the baby crawl on the ceiling. With Tommy talking to him, even though I don't think Tommy was really there, because I don't think Tommy would have even left his apartment.
Well, the baby scene actually kind of makes me think of The Exorcist, the way they had the baby's head turned
Yeah.
completely around. And at that point the baby is dead, so that could easily be part of his hallucination. Um,
One of the things I actually did like is that he left, 2,000 pounds for his for Spud because he felt bad for him.
okay, so I
Spud's
think
never really had anyone.
we need to give a little bit of background on that. So after Renton moves to London to try to kind of get out of this culture, his brother finds him, and shortly after that, his friend Sick Boy shows up, and then Spud shows up, and they come up with this plan where they're going to basically sell some drugs that they've come across to try to make some money. And they successfully do it. They do come across it. They find a buyer. They make the meat. They make the sell, and now they're all celebrating. They've got all this money, and basically Renton rips off his friends.
Which is funny because not the fact that he rips off his friends, but they were celebrating like they had gotten a lot more than they actually did.
Yeah, what is it? 30,000?
16,000 pounds.
How much?
16,000.
16,000. That's right.
So I mean, that's even in the '90s. That's
Not that much.
$35,000, let's say.
Right.
I mean, that's not great. Fantastic. I mean, if I got $35,000, that's fucking awesome. But I'm not
That
gonna.
was $35,000 amongst 4 people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna retire now. No, it's.
So he rips off his friends, and the interesting part about it is Spud, the one that he leaves the money for, sees him leaving, and doesn't say anything. He's too afraid to do that. And
Well, he was too afraid to say anything, and he was too afraid to go with him
right.
because Renton did offer.
But when he made the offer, he was kind of making it like jokingly, and then Spud's like, "Are you being serious?" And he's like, "No, of course I'm not being serious. I'd never do that." Um, and of course he ends up doing it. And in the closing scene, when they show Renton walking down the road, he flat out says it himself. He's like, "Here's the thing, I'm a bad person." This movie's all around fucked up.
Yeah.
Even when they are not shooting drugs into their veins, these are not good people, and they know it. They know it, and they don't try to do anything about it. And that's kind of the interesting thing. It's a little bit of an exploration of the psyche of the people that are in this kind of situation.
Well, I mean, at the same time, you could almost see Renton trying to do something about it once he actually is off of them. When he goes to London at first, he's working a normal job.
But it takes his parents essentially making him a prisoner to do that.
It worked though.
It did work. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying he didn't. He could not have done this on his own.
No.
So it wasn't until they did that and made him quit cold turkey that he was able to finally make those decisions and try to get out on his
which
own.
is phenomenal on their part. That's honestly one of the differences with this story and my friend is that with this story, Renton's parents cared a lot about him. They did everything they could to help him get off of them, to help him stay off of them. They never turned him away. All of that. You could tell those were good parents.
Oh yeah, I mean they were kind of portrayed as a little goofy and a little
That's all right.
Cartoonish, if you would. But when it did come down to it, yes, they loved their son, flaws and all.
And see that, and that's what I said. That's kind of where the difference comes in with my friend. Nope, can't come back here. You can't stay here. Don't want nothing to do with you. Just really shitty,
Well, it's a difference, and that's not just a local thing or an individual thing. This is kind of a cultural thing here in the United States. There's this whole concept of tough love.
Yeah, see, I don't think I could do that. If my child were hooked on something, I would do something about it, but I wouldn't turn them away.
Well, there's only so much you can do. I mean, if they make the conscious decision, this is the kind of lifestyle I'm going to live, and nothing you're going to do is going to change it. You can't throw your life away to try to keep them from throwing theirs away when that's what they want to do.
Well, no, well, like I said, there's a whole big thing because that's how it all started for him, was because he was thrown out.
Right, and that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Um, but so overall, it's a very sad film. It's a very tragic film. Even though it's got a lot of comical elements to it, it's well acted. It's well written. The soundtrack is oh man, the soundtrack is crazy. It's got Iggy Pop, Brian Eno, Primal Scream, New Order, Sleeper, Blur, Lou Reed, David Bowie. I mean, if you're into this kind of music, this is a great soundtrack, Bill. Um, so just all around a good watch. If you're the sensitive type, I don't know, you might not be able to handle it, but overall, I think it's a really good film. I think if you like stories like that, if you like seeing well written, well rounded characters, you might want to give this movie a try.
Yeah, and if you've not seen it, be careful of one scene near the beginning. It may make you sick.
Oh yeah, there's a scene where I'm not going to go into graphic detail, but it is the worst bathroom in Scotland, and I will leave it
so
up.
bad.
It is so wrong, it's right. Okay, it's anyway. So
I had to bring it up.
yeah, thanks, I appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and pick our next film, and this week we've got Dante. Hello, Dante. All right.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, it didn't drop it.
Woo.
But I left all of the movies, so I'll be right back.
He'll be right back. But this is, let's see if I can get that on here.
It's 065,
065.
which
065.
I want to take a stab and say it's me.
It's even longer than normal.
It's Brandon's wagering it's him.
Okay, well, should have bet.
It is you.
Yes.
And it
lose
is
the bet.
Aragon.
What?
Aragon.
Oh, Aragon. Oh, thank God. Thank God. I need to get some issues off my chest about that movie.
So next week looks like we'll be discussing Aragon. And I don't know if I've seen it. I think I may have, but if I did, I don't think it was very memorable.
It's not. If even regardless of whether you have or haven't, I would go on like an Aragon wiki and just kind of read what it was supposed to be about.
Before or after watching it?
Before.
So you want me to have a bad experience?
Yes.
Right. So that's our show for this week. And next week we're discussing Aragon. And so all you guys out there, have a safe and happy Halloween. Go vote. We have our elections coming up. I already went and voted. It took a little while, not that painful, and it's kind of an important thing to do. So on that note, on behalf of Brandon and Dante, I'm going to say that's a wrap.
Later, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Or if you want to follow along with our antics when we're not in front of the camera, you can check us out on our social media pages on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter by searching for the M Cluster. Or you can leave comments in the field below. Or you can send us an email or give us a call. Heck, you can even write us a letter. Or you could buy us dinner. Or you could buy us a car. That would be awesome. Or you could send us on vacation. Or get us an Emmy. Ooh, a Tony. If you could get us a Tony, that would